Hello! Today I'm stating my opinion on Helldivers. More specifically, Helldivers' balancing. Helldivers had a pretty rough history with balancing, but throughout the years it has really recovered from its cesspit of sponge weapons and enemies that used to plague it. However, it is still not great, and many weapons, and more specifically today, stratagems, have fell behind in terms of power and practicality. So I'm going to state my personal opinion, I know risky, on what those stratagems are, and what I'd do to buff and or nerf them. Before I begin, I would like to clarify that I don't like nerfs, but when something is so powerful and versatile to a point where it outclasses other weapons almost entirely, I believe that weapon should get nerfed. Anyway, moving on. The first weapon I'd change is the Eat, also known as the Expendable Anti-Tank. The problem with the Expendable Anti-Tank is that it simply does too little damage compared to other anti-tank weapons. The only real special thing about it is that it is expendable, and in my opinion, that isn't too much of a speciality to consider it a good weapon, when I could just bring a recoilless or literally any other, especially when I can just bring a recoilless and do the Expendable Anti-Tank's job on the move without having to call down a hell pod and waste me an extra, 10 seconds grabbing something I will most likely not use much within the game. Yes, it does, spare space for other weapons, but in my opinion, it's just too weak to really want me to do that. So again, in my personal opinion, the thing I'd change about the Expendable Anti-Tank is give it one more pen. So it would go from Anti-Tank 2 to Anti-Tank 3. I would also give it 25% more damage than the recoilless rifle. The next weapon I'd change is the autocannon. The autocannon is actually a really reliable weapon, or in my opinion it used to be. Not so much anymore, as it's just kind of outclassed by other weapons, cough cough, the grenade launcher, at literally everything. And in my opinion, the only real thing that I'd do to change it is give it one more pen. Make it Anti-Tank 1. That way it can take down those elites a little more easily. This way, it would have its real versatility shine. Because now, it will actually warrant you wasting a backpack slot and a support slot at the same time, as you can take down crowds with its flak variation, and you can take down pretty much most of the bot front with its AP variant. The next weapon I'd change is my personal favorite. I love the HMG. The HMG is a monster of a weapon against the bots, but in my opinion, it doesn't shine specifically because of one big thing, and that is War Striders. And the only thing I do to change this is either one of these two things, so only one of them. Either make the weak spot on the Striders easier to hit, or make the HMG's damage, up the HMG's damage by 25%. That way it can deal with those elite enemies a little easier, while not being entirely overpowered to a point where it can clear out anything. I love the HMG, but in my opinion, it's not powerful enough. Maybe even give it a mag capacity increase, because right now it's way too small to a point where it feels like you need to bring a supply pack to really run it efficiently. Next up is the ARL, also known as the Airburst Rocket Launcher. Its biggest problem is that it is overshadowed and underpowered for pretty much every faction in the game. Weapons like the grenade launcher and the recoilless rifle and the autocannon do its job just way better than the airburst rocket launcher does, as well as you probably not killing your teammates, which is, a pretty important thing. So what I'd do to change the ARL is make its projectile, not the clusters, make its projectile have heavy pen, and up its projectile damage by 50%, making it so it can really reliably destroy Hulks and maybe even War Striders so that way it can take out those bigger convoys without calling reinforcements. Next up is the jump pack. Now, the jump pack is not that special anymore. When it came out, which is the start of the game, people thought it was really cool, and it was really cool. However, we have cooler backpacks now, and much better mobility backpacks that are much safer, such as the warp pack, which is so powerful to a point where if you have a charged weapon, it is almost mandatory to use because it makes that charged weapon so good. Charging your weapon in cover and then teleporting out into the open and one-tapping like War Striders and Hulks and Factory Striders is so powerful to a point where it is almost mandatory for charged weapons. And the only real like buff I'd think to use for the jump pack is make it incredibly mobility based. And the change I'd do, give it 2 charges. Make it have 2 charges so I can hop, and then as soon as I land I can hop again. That charge separately from each other, giving you more mobility as a whole with your stratagems. Next up is the Bastion tank. Its biggest problem is that it is made out of paper. It has not a lot of health, and anything that is a rocket can injure it, which is incredibly bad. And the only thing that I'd think to actually increase for it is both of those things. Raise the front armor by 1, giving it heavy armor, and raise its HP pool by 50%. That way, it feels like you are in a tank. Because right now, it just feels like you're in a slightly higher HP FRV that will just die immediately if you encounter a War Strider or anything bigger than a Hulk. Next is the Shield Generator Relay. The Shield Generator Relay is really good, specifically for Cyberstan, which, as I'm recording right now, is we lost, which is sad. But it has a really big problem, and that is Hellpods destroy it really quickly, and it lasts a little too short. My change for this is just make it immune to Hellpods, and make it last 30 seconds longer, so it has that longevity to really get you through a spread democracy or extraction or anything. The next change is a sad one, the Tesla Tower. Its problem is everything. It cannot be saved, and my change is nothing. This thing is garbage. It is easily the worst stratagem in the game. No one likes it. No one does. It is ass. I don't know. Just get this thing away from me. Exosuits. The exosuits are problematic in the fact that they just don't do well against anything that isn't the bugs. High tier bots and squids just laser this thing instantly. Leviathans kill it instantly. The Harvesters kill it instantly. Factory Striders kill it instantly. It struggles against War Striders. It's just not good. And the only real change I can think of is make a way for it to resupply and repair, like maybe a repair torch or something, and make the very front plate of the exosuit heavy armor. That way it can withstand more damage from the small guys, while, so you can focus on the big guys more. Next is the Maxi Gun. I love the Maxi Gun as a concept, but in my opinion, they butchered it. The Maxi Gun is really not very good. In one reason, really, you can't fire while moving. And that's the one change I'd make. Make it so you can fire while moving and diving. That's it. That's it. Just make it so you can dive, you can move while shooting, and this thing would be instantly better than how it is right now. And it wouldn't make it too overpowered, because if you want to run a backpack, you can't with the Maxi Gun. But with the machine gun, its non-belt fed counterpart, you can. Making it not too overpowered, but powerful enough to be, usable against anything that isn't base bugs. Because you can't use it against the Rupture Strain, because you can't dive out of the way. You can't use it against the Predator Strain, because you can't dive out of the way. You can't use it against the Luminate, because you can't dive out of the way. It's problematic, and its problem can be solved so easily by just enabling movement while you're shooting. That's it. Alright, everything past this point is primarily nerfs. And don't worry, it's not a lot. There's only 2 in here. So starting, the grenade launcher. This might come to a surprise of some people, especially people who haven't used it as of recently. They gave the grenade launcher heavy pen. Why? The grenade launcher is easily the best stratagem in the game right now, because it can absolutely freak up anything. Any faction you bring the grenade launcher to, it will mess up. It was my primary stratagem for Cyberstan, and I did not lose a single mission with the grenade launcher. It can take out everything but Vox engines. Everything. Tanks, Hulks, War Striders, gunships, Devastators, Cyborgs, Troopers, everything. It can take out everything. It is ridiculous. It needs to be nerfed. It makes everything else that is crowd control, that is anti-tank, entirely useless. It's too versatile. Revert it to its pre-heavy pen state. Revert it to its medium pen state, so it can just exist without problems. Because I can no longer... when Cyberstan or the Mega Factories come back, I don't think I'll ever be able to use any other stratagem as long as this thing has heavy pen. It needs to be reverted. Our last primary nerf, the recoilless rifle. The recoilless rifle is my main anti-tank. I love the recoilless rifle, however, even I can admit that this thing's way too powerful. Specifically in its HE mode. It gives it too much versatility. It just gives it way too much versatility. It actively discredits the autocannon, the airburst, the epoch. It discredits all of them, because why would you pick any of those when you can have the recoilless that can do that and destroy factory striders and Vox engines and pretty much everything in the game, all for what, sacrificing a backpack slot? That's worth it, like, all the way. That shouldn't be it shouldn't be this powerful and versatile. And the change I'd make, just remove its HE mode. Make it so it only has heat, and maybe increase heat's damage by a bit, like 10%. That way it can take out factory striders more. But other than that, that's all the changes I'd make. Just remove the HE mode, make it, you know, a one-trick pony, because make it just a really good one-trick pony. Because it's too versatile, and it discredits every other crowd control stratagem. The end. That's all. If you disagree with any of the points I made here, please let me know. If people like this video and agree with it, I may make another video looking at more stratagems, and maybe even some primary and secondary weapons, if you guys want to. Anyway, that's all for today. See ya!